Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the B stream here for the WCS. I was about to say Europe. Nah. The WCS Season 2 Grand Finals. My name is Kyle Laris, alongside Todd. You're on Merlot. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
It's Merlot, but...
Merlot? Dad!
That's okay.
I've already started off badly, apparently. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. But here on the B stream, we have quite a few games to show you today. I think we have 8 series in total, I believe. Which is going to comprise of the first and fourth players in any group. So we get all the champions and MC facing against the fourth seeds. And then from that point on, we'll have our losers game. So very, very structured here on the B stream. We want to cover as many games as possible here to make sure you get all the StarCraft entertainment that you need. And I think we have a lot of Protoss, so I'm sure you're happy as well.
Starting with the PvP feels very suitable. Just right after WCS Europe, where we had a lot of Protosses in action, and we already had this match happen in WCS Europe as well. So that's going to be a rematch, basically.
Yeah.
Although they have already played twice, so MC to be able to win the first 2 times that these 2 players faced. Welmu is going to have a very tough first match ahead of him.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, I would say, for Welmu that he has to run up against MC again after those 2 series that he had in WCS Europe. But Welmu, he's the kind of guy that goes away, takes everything to know, and then is going to just try and improve on that. And, you know, Welmu could turn some heads here. He could just quite easily come out of the gate and do something. But it's a very big stage, a very big stage. Now, will that get to Welmu, who doesn't have as much experience as MC does?
And also, like, if you look at the players in this tournament, there's so many good players. And if I was Welmu or MC, I would think I have a hard match, but definitely not the hardest. I mean, you could have gotten innovation first or something like that, and then like
exactly
your day is kind of ruined, or it will be much harder for them to pass somebody like an innovation rather than facing each other in a PvP, which is a matchup they both appreciate.
Yeah.
So as much as MC won the first time, and this is a tough match, both players have a chance in this. I feel much more than in some of the other matches.
In fact, I think we can actually take a look at the entirety of the groups here to show you what's going to unfold today, as well as how these guys actually qualified. As you can see, all the qualifiers at the top from their respective regions moving down into these 4 groups. Our first series here on the B stream will be MC versus Welmu, and then we shall have the loser of that match face off against the loser of Rain versus Jaedong. And then the structure continues on throughout the day, with our 3rd match guaranteed to be Pult versus First, our 5th match guaranteed to be Duck Duck versus Naniwa, and our 7th match guaranteed to be Maru versus Alive. So again, we get all the champions, so I'm quite happy about that, to be honest.
The last match of each group is saved for tomorrow, right?
Yes, that is true.
The match to basically determine who will advance in each group as 2nd player, which is going to be pretty important as well.
Yep.
So tomorrow as well, the games will start with fireworks. But first today, a lot of players here want to make it far in advance. Each of these players is guaranteed $5,000 at least, but there is big money on the line as well. The first prize, $40,000.
Yeah, MC here, our first combatant, looking to attain himself over $400,000 worth of prize pool. I think he has to get either 1st or 2nd to attain that. But still, that is a giant, giant position that MC would find himself in if he were to actually grant himself that. And then, again, in comparison, you have a player like Welmu here who hasn't really accomplished that much in StarCraft, but he's looking to do a lot more here.
I think Welmu could win more in this tournament than in his entire career.
I think you might have a good point there. I'm going to even check that. SC2 earnings.com. Very sneaky.
Jaedong being in this group with 3 Protosses is very interesting because it's been his weakest matchup for basically his entire career. So far, he's always struggled against Protoss. Every time he made it far in the tournament, he pretty much every single time lost to a Protoss. And now he's in a group with 3 Protoss. And he's had the time to prepare as much as he wanted, I'm sure, with the days that he had before this tournament. And if he prepared really hard here, I think we might see a new Jaedong versus Protoss, pulling miracles and playing just extremely well, able to dismantle anybody. He's Jaedong after all.
Yeah.
Then again, if he focused too much on Protoss, his other matchups might get a little bit weaker.
That's true.
So although he's shown a lot of strength, especially in ZVZ as well, I hope for him he's balanced his practice pretty well. But the first step the first important thing for Jaedong is going to be to get out of this group here.
Yeah, and then we just have to briefly look over Group B, C, and D here, as actually the foreigners have been quite well separated from one another. So if they were to ever have a good opportunity to advance on, aside from one another, this is certainly their opportunity to do so. But all the groups here are absolutely stacked. I would say, if I had to look at all of those groups, that Scarlet probably has the best chance of advancing as a foreigner. Only having to play ZVT, which she is very, very good at, could be of great advantage to her.
Yeah, these players are really good, though.
Yeah,
Alive, MMA, and Maru. I think to play MMA first, I don't think he's the best Terran in this tournament, but he's been showing very good things recently. Not just in the WCS Euro, but in Acer Team Story Cup as well. I was one of the casualties that he made there. So as much as Scarlet can do it, it's still going to be pretty hard.
Yeah, certainly will be. All right, so guys, we are just now waiting for the map vetoes to conclude here for MC and Welmu. Remember, guys, it is a best of 3 and dual tournament format. So as we previously mentioned, the winners will play the winners of the next game that is being streamed on the A stream. I'm going to take a guess and say that Artosis and Apollo have opened up on that stream. I think that'll be easy to deduce.
They'll be casting Rain versus Jaedong as first game.
Yes.
And then they'll be casting the winner's match while we do the loser's match.
Yeah. So basically, we get the important match because we see who goes out first, which is very, very important here, guys.
But they see who qualifies first.
That's kind of true.
So you need to have both streams.
But then you definitely see that person again, right? But our stream, you might never see that person again. That's how I'm working it out, man.
All right.
All right, so let's have a look, see. We have our first series hosted here, guys. B-Stream, a little less, I would say a little less produced than the mainstream because they have a cool stage and they have all this flashing lights and which is like, kind of reminds me of DreamHack a little bit. All the lights going spinny, but it's cool. But other than that, it'll be all right. Okay, so ESL Newkirk Precinct will be our first map here in this best of 3 between Welmu and MC. Just looking back on WCS Europe, do you see this going to MC again? Or do you think Welmu can kind of bring a little bit of an upset?
I really feel like when there is a series that happens the way the last series of MC Welmu happened, with Welmu just basically underperforming and MC completely dismantling him, there is always this huge chance that this time Welmu will play a lot better and possibly take it, or at least have a lot closer games, because he lost really hard the last time they played, and it just didn't feel like it was Welmu playing. Everything went wrong for him. And I'm very often tempted to say it's going to go the other way around this time. And I will actually say the same thing about Naniwa versus Dog as well.
All right.
Keep that in mind.
I shall keep this in mind. Do we cast Naniwa Dog? We
Yes,
do.
we do.
All right, okay, so plenty of PvP for this guy. I'm sure he's very happy. As these guys should be good to go here in just a second. Welmu seems good to go, as does MC. So our first match will start in just a second. A big thank you for joining us here at Stream B for the WCS Season 2 finals. Again, we make sure that we can bring every single game to you as much as possible so that you don't miss out on a single one. And we already outlined.
Not a single one.
Not a single one.
Every single game will be streamed. So
that's awesome. I love it. I love it. And again, Newkirk Precinct, our first map. I'm curious as to what the rest of the map pool was. Newkirk, Neo, Belshire. So in PvP, it's kind of by the by a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty okay. I will be surprised if they played maps like Red City or something like that in a best of 3. It's some of the more removed maps. Then again, mirror match, it all comes down to the personal preference, and then again, every player has their very own personal preferences. And
just to warn you, I shall be observing. So we have no dedicated observer here, as Mr. Funker.
We have you.
I guess I'm not really dedicated.
Well, partly dedicated.
Lazy observer, I don't know. All right, so Newkirk Precinct is our map. See if Welmu can vanquish MC, a player that was a thorn in his side throughout Challenger League in WCS Europe and the final bracket in Season 2. So a very important match here for Welmu to see if he can actually traverse this hurdle that is MC, that has just vanquished him time and time again.
I was actually watching Baby Knight's stream just before this went live, and he played a game against MC, and I have to say MC was playing very impressively. So gonna be keeping an eye on what he does here.
All right, and spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner here as our red Protoss, we have NRS Welmu representing Neurosoft and Finland. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have Mr. SKMC representing Korea. And again, he just got pipped at the post for that finals in WCS Europe Season 2. Duck Duck performing very, very well. But personally, after seeing Duck Duck's reactions, I wouldn't have had it any other way. He was so happy and so made up with that victory. MC didn't look best pleased with the second place.
Definitely not. I mean, he had to be happy, part of him had to be happy, obviously, about making it this far. But when you reach the finals, you're never going to want to take second. And sadly for MC, that's what happened this time. But here he's going to have a new chance in this tournament. And with this first match against Welmu, he needs to secure himself the first win here that he can get. The last time that they played, I mean, not the last time, the one before that, when they played in Challenger, they were the first match in the group. And MC, I think he won 2-1 that time. So Welmu, he was the first match, the first opponent of MC before in a group. MC able to win that, but well, MC actually scouting for proxies just after gateway here. I thought for a second something crazy might go down, like a pylonized expansion, but I guess he has to take gas first.
Yeah.
And Welmu double gas.
Well, the gateways were exactly the same time for both of these players, so neither player really cutting any corners to get a little bit more of aggression out earlier, and it seems like a really respectful game early on here. Welmu only putting 2 in his initial gas. I'm imagining 2 in the second gas will happen as well, whilst the second gas was a little bit later for MC, as you pointed out with the earlier 2 gas here from Welmu. So
if you do 3+3 at this time, you're going to have 9 probes on minerals, or 10, which is not enough. That's not a very good income to have, so it's completely normal what they do so far. On this map, actually, remember I've said it before, it's very interesting, the tech path that these players choose. Because it's close by air, it makes targets kind of good. But because it makes target kind of good, Twilight is used very often, whether it's for Blink or Dark Shrine for Dark Templars. So that's I feel like it increases the possibilities to go into a Stargate or Twilight, but Robo a lot less.
Ah, okay. Well, in terms of MC's play in PvPs, have you been able to play MC on like ladder or anything like that as of late?
No, not recently, but like I said, he just played Baby Knight on Red City while Baby Knight was streaming, and MC went for a quick expand. I think he made it at like 4:30, like a Sentry expand.
Wow. Yeah.
And Baby Knight ended up killing the expansion of MC, and MC basically all in with like 4 Immortals and lots of Stalkers, and was able to make it work against the Blink Stalkers of Baby Knight. So we're going to see here what he chooses to do. I would be surprised if he went for expansion. MC is not usually the guy that you expect to go for this kind of thing. And just because he did the build before tournament games, it usually kind of means the opposite. Like when you have to play a tournament, and especially if you know the game might be streamed, you're going to play totally differently than you would in the actual real games.
Yeah, okay then. Well, yeah, I think you have a very, very good mindset in terms of actually looking at that, because MC is that kind of guy that just wants to go for a lot of aggression, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that here. I mean, we were theorizing that this series could be very, very quick.
Yes.
So we could certainly see that.
It looks like Welmu is the one who's going to be pressuring here. He went for the 3 gateway. He's going to proxy a pylon very soon, and he's throwing down the Robo behind this. He wants to make sure he doesn't die to very fast Dark Templars.
Yeah, nice precaution.
MC, though, it looks kind of like the Hulz build, where you get the double gateway, but usually you will get the Sentry first, then 2 Stalkers. Now he made 3 Stalkers, and he's getting 2 Sentries behind this, which is also something that Hulz did sometimes. Yeah. So he could follow this up with anything, really. An expansion, he could throw down a Robo, a Twilight. He's going to have to be careful, though. Since he didn't make the first Sentry very early on, he's not going to have a Scout anytime soon.
Oh, wow. And Welmu ends up cancelling the pylon at the front, and MC now feels comfortable enough to throw down that expansion. So for MC here, this is a pretty good opening. And Welmu, he goes straight back home and throws down his own expansion as well.
Welmu, he was going to go for this to basically kill an expansion or get a cancel on it. Then he saw it wasn't there. He's like, all right, I'm going home and expanding. And at worst or at best, depends the way you see it, we are going to be expanding at the same time, which Welmu doesn't mind at all.
Yeah, he's certainly content right now. He's throwing his observer out there as well, just to get full information as to what his opponent's up to. And he will, I think, how content would you be if you send your observer over there and only just see the Robo facility actually finishing up at this particular time?
You have to wonder, though, how that happened. And if your opponent might be ahead on walkers, you see MC, he's very smartly chrono boosting probes right now because he wants to get ahead on walkers. Because then when he transfers, even if he has 3 more probes, it's going to be a big kick in his economy that might send him far ahead. So he's doing that well. But yeah, Welmu is going to be able to be the one that takes the info a little bit earlier, because MC is about to have his first hallucination. He actually has enough energy to send a hallucination across the map. And this is really what you need to scout your opponent in Heart of the Swarm rather than observers.
Well, Observer's going to come in and see that the Robo Facility is being chrono boosted, and he moves away straight away with that Observer, arguably realizing that there is going to be an Observer out quickly to try and hunt that down. Does MC see it? It's just barely on the vision. Oh, he knows it's there.
Yeah.
And does not hunt it down in the end, as it did move into a better position of defense. So Welmu saves that, but MC always knows it's there now. It's cornered.
Yeah. First hallucination will be sent out now, and that's very important. And I like that MC, he's getting some Immortal, but he has not to make so many immediately. He has to get a Forge very quickly, remember? I've been over this as well. When you go into an expansion in PvP and your opponent has expand as well, you need to throw down a very quick Forge so that you can start upgrading. Look at Welmu. He started +1 already.
Yeah.
And MC is going to be able to spot it. He sees the Twilight Council as well. He had already started his own Forge kind of late, but no Twilight Council just yet. I think he's going to get his own Twilight Council, and then from there, they go into Zealot, Archon, and Immortal, and they try to take a third. But it can be, you can take some risks. You can take a very early third.
And he's already getting charge as well here, so I really like the earlier charge in this matchup nowadays. It can be very strong here, and Welmu knows that in buckets. So MC though, he sees all of that and has to kind of start all of it as himself. He gets that +1 going, but he's always a little bit behind in that regard. The probe counts, it is still 3 in the lead too, so 45 to 42 for MC. So as you said before, just 3 extra can give you that little bit of a jolt.
Oh, and Welmu, look at all the gateways he's throwing down. Remember that story I told you about Welmu and Naniwa meeting on ladder?
Yeah.
Welmu, if he sees any weakness in MC's build from there, he's going to go all in. He's going to move forward, he's going to proxy a pylon, and he's going to try to crush his opponents with just lots of Zealots and Archons. I'm actually surprised he hasn't made a Templar Archive just yet. I guess he can get it just before he moves out, but MC is going to have to be careful because he's made more probes, way more probes right now, 51 to 46. If Welmu starts cutting probe from now and just all-ins, he's going to be so hard for MC to hold. Actually, he's completely cut probe production. Look, Welmu is not making probes at all anymore. He's sending a probe all the way through the top side of the map.
And MC is trying to get all the information he needs, and he certainly needs a lot of it. He did spot a lot of the gateways that were going down, but he doesn't have full information. Templar Archives, a Warp Prism's on the way, +2 weapons has started as well. But both players here just sending out Hallucinated Phoenixes still, trying to see what each other are up to. MC's army, he does have 3 Immortals, but if there's so many Zealots, I guess it doesn't matter a whole lot.
Yeah, and you know what? I think if I was MC here, I would have felt confident enough to start my own third base, but MC is playing this so smart. He sent 2 hallucinations, one of each, on each possible third base for Welmu. So he knows that his opponent doesn't have a third right now. So he's not going to rush his own third. He's going to make sure he doesn't die to anything. He's added a lot of his own gateways. He's on 8 gateways against the 9 gateways of Welmu. And he's post the War Prism.
Yeah, he just saw it. And
this is big.
There is that third going down here for Welmu as well. But as you said, he spotted the War Prism, so he should be able to deny that aggression.
Oh, but actually, he might not realize that this was a War Prism, because this could have been a Hallucinated Phoenix. Usually when you see something flying this way like this, it's almost always going to be a Hallucinated Phoenix. So MC is not reacting to this, but he's getting a Dark Shrine in the back of his main mineral line.
Yeah.
Oh, and the War Prism. He might get in there.
Okay, it's still down here, so he's going to look to do some aggression here. But that Phoenix also saw that there was a third going down. So both players know about their opponents. Oh, wait. Welmu, actually, his third has not been spotted just yet. And the Warp Prism has spotted a Warp Prism, and plenty of Warp Prism fun.
That awkward moment.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'll just ignore you. I'll go and help out this frontal push here for Welmu whilst you go elsewhere. But he's positioning Stalkers at the back here to deny that. So he knows exactly what's up. He's going to push forwards here, but I don't think Welmu can break MC right now.
And Welmu, he's the only one respecting his opponent's Warp Prism. He's warped in 3 Stalkers back at home to try and intercept and kill this, whereas MC, he has nothing at home. And MC's Dark Shrine just finishes now.
How is he going to use this? Is he going to warp in any at the front here, or I mean, he has to try and do something. The Warp Prism's still static down here for MC, and actually, Welmu's just going to go straight for this here. He does have +2 weapons. He waited for that to finish, and he's going to go for this engagement. Army supplies right now in favor of Welmu, and he looks to be actually doing quite a lot of damage with those Archons still alive and ready to go. He has 5 Archons left against only the 1 here of MC.
The Archon count was very important in this fight, and looks like Welmu is going to be able to take the first game with a nice push.
Oh, wow. Welmu finding a hole here. There is that Dark Templar at the back here for MC, realizing now that there is no Observer here to help on out. But still, where is that Observer? It is all the way in the middle of the map, so that's not going to be there for a long time. But this army could quite easily turn on this third base, kill it off.
Look at the Archons.
And there you go, GG.
Wow. Nice push by Welmu here. He identified he had enough to finish the game, or at least do a lot of damage. He went for it, and he was right. He had enough. When you see that you have 4 Archons or 5 and your opponent has 2 or 3 less, it's going to be almost impossible for him to hold if you micro well. And that's exactly what Welmu did. He attacked in a decent concave. He kept on warping during the fight. He had the Warp Prism there already, whereas MC was... I'm not sure what MC's plan was with those Dark Templars. I mean, he plays the Dark Shrine in his main. Against a very solid opponent, you can always expect him to scout it with Hallucination and get cannons, and like it's never going to do damage. And Welmu, having gone for the Templar Archive, he just had so many Archons. He wasn't trying to trick his opponent with Dark Templars. He just made Archons he wanted to kill. And I feel like if MC had just gone for the regular Templar Archives and made Archons himself, he would have had a very decent shot at holding there and possibly winning.
Again, Welmu is a product of this system, pretty much. Of course, he was always at the very, very top tier of Grandmaster ladder, but that's all he really did. He's only earned like 10,000 prize pool across his entire career, in comparison to someone like MC, who's won like close to 400,000. So Welmu taking that first game, you can clearly tell that he's put so much work in between the season finals of WCS for Europe, straight through to this tournament. Everyone really, really wants this. And again, there's so much on the line.
Yeah, interesting thing that I just realized. I think Welmu, even though he took a third, this was kind of like a fake third. He didn't make that many probes. Like he still cut a long time before MC. So when he attacked here, actually, every time there is a fight, I think we should really pay attention to how much the army supply are, because that's very important. I think he had 15 to 20 army supply more than MC, so that makes a big difference. Not only his composition was better, he had way more overall as well.
All right, well, game number 2 now, the countdown's begun. Neoplanet S will be the map, and if Welmu is able to actually take this 2-0 or 2-1, I think people are kind of seeing an upset go on there. We can't speak too soon, though. It is MC who has been able to pull it back in the past in these PvP situations. So
not just in PvP.
Not just in PvP, he's right. All right, let's jump into game number 2, guys, as we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner here as our blue Protoss. Currently 1 game down, though, here, representing SK and Korea. He is SKMC. And down to the bottom left, we have our red Protoss representing NRS and representing Finland. He is Welmu.
The Finn Phenom, right?
The Finnish Phenom. He's a cool little guy.
Is the Finnish Phenom or the Finn Phenom?
The Finnish Phenom, and then I think Apollo wanted to call him the Bumblebee Protoss as well, because he was just... Every one of his shirts looked like he was a bumblebee, man. He just had like yellow and black stripes on his shirts.
He's supposed to be a tiger.
He's a tiger?
No, I'm just kidding.
I can't imagine Welmu being a tiger. He's like one of the most timid people ever. Oh, well. All right. Okay, so we're not seeing any really early gateways here, and I'm quite happy about that.
Actually, Welmu, is he going for... No, he's going to be the gate 13. Very standard.
Yeah.
By both players. And MC, is he going to scout for proxies again? This is Welmu, so as much as he's one of those very, very aggressive players, you also need to be wary of proxy possibilities. And Welmu is actually... I feel like he's not giving much respect to MC. Oh, finally he scouts for proxies. I think he might have forgot about it and then did it just a little bit later, because you're supposed to scout it a bit earlier than this.
Yeah.
He's actually going to scout for proxies.
He didn't actually go too far with that scout, but I mean, he went where he needed to,
you will see the gateway by this time. That's the thing. Yeah. The gateway will already be started, so you would have seen it. Yeah,
just kind of on the lip over at the top of that natural. But Welmu here, adding on his second gas, as we already had MC add on his second gas as well. So for now, we will just see a little bit more of a usual transition out. But the thing is that MC in the past, I mean, the one game that really stands out in PvP for me is that game against Duck in the very last game on this map, where MC proxied such an ambitious proxy as well with that Stargate. I don't think we'll see something like this here.
Yeah, I mean, he probably learned the lesson. Didn't work at all. And as much as MC is a bit of a wild player himself, I think in this match, if I were him, I would just think, well, I've beaten this guy twice before. I'm just gonna play solid.
Yeah.
I don't need to take any particularly big risks, and I'm just gonna win from there. In the first game, he might have thought that the Dark Shrine was a solid move to do, but it was just too risky against somebody like Welmu, who likes to push at crazy times where nobody else would attack.
So, is that in game one? Can you attribute MC's loss to the fact that he was purely overtaking and thinking he was too safe?
Yeah, definitely. I think he miscounted the saturation of his opponent. And then when he saw the third, he just went into autopilot thinking like this was going to be a third macro game and all that, when it was not. Welmu, he was planning this push all along. Taking his third was part of his plan, and he fooled MC in the end, and it worked.
Very, very cool opener here from Welmu to get himself that little bit of a lead. He's sending probes absolutely everywhere.
Both players actually doing lots of scouting. Which
is, I mean, it's completely valid here on a map like this, a very small map. Anything that's hidden can get over to your opponent's base very quickly. And MC now just keeping his probes sat over here, whilst Welmu, I'm assuming he's trying to scout if there's
Welmu's going to
expansion. Is he going to expand?
I'm a little bit surprised. Welmu is the last guy I would ever expect to expand in this matchup. But when I saw the 2 sentries, I was already thinking there's a good chance he's going to expand. And then he throws down the Nexus. Now I'm guessing a Robo is going to be next. But look, MC, he's proxying a pylon. He might go. I think he's going to go for the 3-gate pressure.
Yeah, it certainly seems like that. And unfortunately for Welmu, he was unable to spot that 3rd gateway at the very back. Not to mention the Stargate that's now going down behind it as well. So Welmu doesn't really have too much information about what his opponent's doing, whereas MC, he has a lot of information. He just saw the Nexus. And I think that's exactly what he wanted to see with this aggression.
And MC had already made a Stargate, so I think he was somehow hoping that Welmu will go for an expansion here, because with his Stargate against the Robo, he's going to be in good shape. The question is, can he do enough damage? Oh, Welmu has to be careful here.
He certainly does. Only having these sentries, Welmu in the past has hallucinated units, or extra stalkers to try and make it look like his forces were a little stronger here against this kind of push. Will he go for that again, though? He has quite a lot of firepower, but MC is constantly rallying on a few stalkers, and he does hallucinate some stalkers here to try and push this on back and make it look like his army is stronger. But I think MC might realize that they can't be the real, because you can't have that much invested, but the photon overcharge has had time bought for it, and he gets that down, and this is going to be a little bit hard for MC to break.
Yeah, Welmu could have actually waited for those units to come in, force field, and then use the photon overcharge to make sure they don't escape, because now when MC is just going to wait for the photon overcharge to run out, and he's going to go for the kill, and he's getting an Oracle. He's going to send that into the main of Welmu. Welmu having to have used hallucination for stalkers, and well, he's actually about to have a hallucination, but there's no way he's going to see the Stargate on time, so he's not going to have units ready in his main.
Yeah. This is going to be difficult here for Welmu. How is he going to react to this? It's the... there's a clock on him right now. The Immortal has rendezvoused at the front, so that's very useful, but he can't really leave it unprotected by having to bring the Stalkers back to deal with this Oracle. Does he have enough energy for another photon? No, he does not. He certainly doesn't.
MC, I'm really surprised. He's waiting for a second Oracle. This might be very, very smart in the end, because he's... I don't know if he's going to send it in the main or attack the expansion with it and try to kill the sentries. But either choice could be good here. He's going to send it in the main.
Yeah, it certainly could be. This could do a lot of damage to that probe line very, very quickly here. Welmu does now see the Oracles entering the main base. And how is he going to react? He pulled his probes away quite quickly, but the Stalkers leaving to try and deal with the Oracles while the entire army pushes at the front. Force field's not too bad, sealing the Stalkers in at the back. But there's not enough firepower here for Welmu. His Immortal is going to be trapped on the other side of Force fields as well with Zealots. This is going to be hard for him to hold on to.
Oh, actually, the Immortal gets out. He needs to pull probes. Welmu needs to hold here.
Yeah, he definitely needs to pull probes right now. That one Immortal has already gone down. The second one could go down very quickly as well if he's not careful. And losing the Mothership Core, he has no photon overcharge. No energy, of course, because it's not even there. The probes do come off the line. But a great force field pinned all this army in the
46
back.
energy on the sentry. 47. He needs one more force field. Oh, the units are going to get in there.
That's very, very useful here for Welmu. Can he hold on? But his supply has
and MC is trapped.
The
Stalkers are trapped. He's going to lose everything.
He's going to lose a lot, but he's killed off so many probes here. 28 workers have actually been killed off. It's 5 workers against 24. Even if Welmu recovers from this position and kills off all of this army, can he recover from the whole game?
Wow, this is a crazy game we're seeing right here. 6 probes against 24. I can't believe Welmu even held this. I think MC should be able to take it, although that mistake of having his stalkers trapped almost cost him the game instantly there. So Welmu is going to try and chrono boost as many probes out as he can from there. But with the next Oracle, I mean, getting in there, about to fly into the main, most likely, I think this is going to be the end here for Welmu.
Yeah, it's going to be so hard at this point. Only having 8 probes and having to recover from that position whilst your opponent has a fully saturated base that you can just make units on. It's going to be so difficult. He even brings, there you go, GG. He brought the Oracle down there knowing that all he had to do was crush that army. And that does it for game 2, 1-1.
So it was you who predicted fast games?
I guess so.
Those players, man, they have no time to waste. They want to move on to the next round, the winner's match possibly, and they give it their everything. I'm really surprised that Welmu tried to expand here.
Yeah.
And considering how it went, I'm pretty sure this is the last time, not just in this best of 3, but in his career, that he will expand in the PvP.
He got stretched so thinly there. I don't know how he could have actually made that work.
He might have been trying to use his image, you know, because he has the image of a very aggressive player. In the first game, he was the one who was going to push, and then later on, he went for the big timing attack on the 3rd base of MC. So he might have thought, MC from there, although he's a very aggressive player, he might finally try to play defensive to hold my initial attack, and then from there later on attack. But MC, no, he had no plan to play defensively, at least early on in this game. He wanted to go for the 3 gates pressure followed by Stargates, and I feel like this is a bit of a build order win as well. I mean, when you expand and you go for Robo, 3 gates and Stargates is like the worst thing you can play against. It's really, really, really hard to win in that situation.
And guys, make sure to spread the word on Twitter and all your respective social media networks, as some people might not know that we actually have a second stream here showing you all the games. So please hashtag, I think it's WCS. Yeah. We have a hashtag ESLGC as well, but you can hashtag WCS, and that's more than fine. Tell everyone that our second stream is on with Kyle, Aris, and Todd, as we have 1-1 currently between MC and Welmu. And this could go either way now. I think that Welmu plays a little bit safer in this 3rd game.
Welmu?
Yeah, like, no, I mean he doesn't go for like a crazy expansion timing, right? Belshire Vestige is the map.
Expand is a crazy build when used by Welmu.
Yeah.
That's not his department.
Not at
Aggression
all.
is his department.
All right, so we'll see if he wants to get that going. We've already seen time and time again Welmu be very, very strong on this map. Again, I have to think back to our round of 32 in WCS Europe, where we saw him going up against Baby Knight. Baby Knight's probably watching PvP. Hi, if you want.
Baby Knight is always watching.
I
don't know why we even mention it.
Yeah, I don't know.
We can feel his presence.
It's as if he's sat right next to us. Oh, Baby Knight. Yeah, he's really, really strong on this map. If he gets into the stride of things, and that's how I categorize Welmu. We had to do a few write-ups before this, and I was like, if he hits his stride, he is so strong. But it's getting to that stride that is always the tough challenge here for Welmu. So we'll see if MC can stifle that a little bit as we jump into game number 3 to see who advances on to that winner's match and who falls down to the loser's match, as we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner our blue Protoss representing Neurosoft and Finland. He is Welmu. And up to the top left, we have our red Protoss representing SK and Korea. We have MC.
I'm glad you're observing, by the way.
Yeah?
I'm moving around.
Dude,
a lot, like very quickly, and I always feel very stressed for a second because I think the computer might be like mine, the observing one, and I'm like, oh god, Kadar saves the day once again.
Dude, I will never let pro players observe. Every time I see them observing, it's just like this. I'm going to demonstrate now on camera how pro players observe. It's like, I'm going to go down here, and then I'm going to check there, and then I'm going to check here, and it's like, oh, well,
and you know what we do a lot in start of game? We select all the pros many times. So that's what we would do usually.
I had to get out of the habit of doing that whilst observing, but thankfully I've had a lot of practice, so it's been okay.
Both players gate 13 again. MC, he's been placing his gate quite far away from his pylon. Like, it's become his standard, and I find this interesting and intriguing because I don't really know why he's doing this just yet. I guess maybe he wants to have his units quicker, out closer to the fight, like not close to his middle line. He's actually scouting quite far out right now.
Yeah, he scouted not only the upper ledge, but also scouted out the entire perimeter of his natural. So MC is taking no risks. It's very clear here that MC is just being as methodical as he can possibly be in this opening series, because, hell, why not? You need to make sure you take precautions in a series where prize pool differences between round of 16, round of 8, round of 4 are huge. So you need to make sure that you're doing well.
Every time you pass around, like, you win thousands.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do you wish you were there, Todd? Do you wish you were winning thousands?
Next season.
Next season, man? Sick. I'm liking it.
Apparently, Jaedong is 1-0 against Rain.
Really?
Yeah.
There's an update for you guys, although I imagine a lot of people are already watching 2 streams anyway. But yeah, thank you very much for updating me, Todd. I really appreciate that.
MC scouting?
He
I'm a bit
is.
surprised by this Welmu. He hasn't been putting any effort into really scouting early on with
This
Probe.
is going in a weird direction, though, isn't it? Slightly. I thought it would have gone down that ramp, but maybe not. I thought he may actually try and proxy something there, but I guess not. He's just going to go for the straight scout.
It would be a weird timing, because he's just made 2 gateways. Like, he plans on using them, of course.
Yeah, that's true. Never mind.
Welmu is on only 1 gate, and MC is going to be able to see that. So if he can kind of guess and deduce what he might be up against, I feel like MC might have the upper hand here. Then again, you can never exactly guess what you're going to be up against. And Welmu, is it going to be a Twilight?
Seems
Is this
so.
probe stuff? No. Got scared for a second.
Got stuck behind that little building. That would have been annoying. But yeah, he does go for the Twilight Council. So this is kind of where Welmu had a lot of his comfort zone. Yeah, you see him going for Dark Shrines, and even if it doesn't pay off for itself in terms of doing a lot of damage, he'll still feel very, very happy about the position he finds himself in with map control and the ability to try and push his opponent back and stuff.
Yeah.
So we could see that.
Wow, and Welmu is fearless. He's sending out his Mothership Core and his Stalker to do a lot of scouting quite far out. He hasn't scouted behind the middle line of his natural or his third base. Imagine MC had thrown down a pylon there.
I think we're going to see Welmu throw down a pylon over the other side, as that Dark Shrine is on the way now.
Yeah, I think Welmu, he just goes for 2 gates and expansion and the Robo as well to make sure, basically Dark Templar plus Robo for detection. This has become one of the better builds in PvP, which is actually, you're not committing to the Dark Templars, because you just swap 1 to do some harassment and scout as well. And even if you lose it and you don't do any damage with it, it's not the end of the world.
And Welmu, he spotted the probe and he spotted the pylon extra going down. So he already knows there's probably a pylon behind this one as well.
But MC going for a Stargate here, I feel like he's going to have detection super late. If he's not able to see the Dark Shrine coming, look at the Dark Shrine.
It's almost done.
35 seconds from finishing. And Welmu is going to proxy a pylon now. It takes 25 seconds for that pylon to finish, so he's going to finish just before the Dark Shrine is finished. Oh, he's going to send the probe. He's actually going to reveal that he proxied pylons. I don't agree. I disagree with this, because MC now is going to come back. He's going to see a probe enters his main. He might be able to snipe the pylon on time. This is going to be so close. The Dark Shrine 10 seconds from finishing now.
Wow, this is going to be close. He didn't see the Stargate, and the Oracle could have grant him vision, right?
Yeah, and if MC sees the Dark Templar, he could even force field the ramp. Oh, is he watching?
There is a blur. Are you watching, MC?
I think he's watching his ramp. Yeah, he's going to see it. Oh, does he force field?
Oh, yes, he does. Very, very good reactions there by MC, keeping those Dark Templar out, buying time for that Oracle to finish up, even hitting the pylon at the back here with these Stalkers. But at the same time, this has given Welmu a pretty comfortable spot back home.
Wow, I'm surprised Welmu sent 2 Dark Templars in. This is not going to do any damage here.
No.
I would have agreed with 1, but 2, definitely too much here. Welmu, though, he now knows he's up against Stargate, and he's going for Blink and for his own expansion. And you know, sorry, but
it's okay.
If Welmu didn't send the probe in, do you think MC would have spotted the pylon and like Grant and seen the Dark Templars on time?
I think it's a very, very good point that you bring up, and I don't think he would have, because what would he need to have been? He was focused, dead set on aggression, right? He was sending all of his units over there. He had 2 pylons over there. MC was going to be away from home. So that could have worked out for Welmu a little bit better. But I've got to ask now, does Welmu actually find the time to get Blink here? Do you think he's comfortable in terms of just teching up now, getting this natural up and running?
The thing is, when you play against Dark Templars like this, even if you hold the initial attack, you need to leave some units at home to defend against 1 Dark Templar trying for a run-by, and detection as well. He opens Stargate. How can he do that? He can't go for 2 Oracles and then move out with 1 and keep 1 at home. This is not worth it. So MC, he has to play defensively, and Welmu is aware of that. Now he spots the expansion. He knows that he has a much earlier expansion. If from there Welmu only chronoboost probes for like the next 2 minutes, he's actually going to pull quite far ahead in everything. Economy, tech. I'm surprised he hasn't made a forge yet, since MC is the one with the earlier forge, considering he has a later expansion.
And that Blink's going to finish up in a little bit here for Welmu. So his defenses should be able to hold up. He's even chrono boosting it, knowing that there is that threat of an Oracle eventually appearing near his base. And he has the Stalkers really nicely positioned as well. So much so that if the Oracle comes in and he actually blinks straight towards the Oracle, he could actually kill that off, I think.
This is a funny situation. I don't think the Oracle... Oh, actually. Blink just finished.
Oh, Revelation. That was a nice utilization of that energy there. So he's going to know exactly where the Stalkers are.
Welmu's warping his Stalkers on the top right-hand side. He's going to try to catch the Oracle. MC has to be very, very careful with this one Oracle. And it's funny, this situation, because each player are trying to think, okay, what's next now? What's my opponent going to do? MC, he knows that Welmu, he has to go into Blink behind this, because he already has the Twilight and he was up against the Stargate. So he's going to go for Immortals. But Welmu, if he anticipates that and he just goes for charge and more upgrades from there, we might have the same situation as we had in the previous game, where Welmu moves out, he pushes, and then he has basically a better composition with more units, and he just wins from there. So he's going to have to make something special happen from there. He's going to have to do some good transitions. MC is going for Blink himself, which I completely disagree with. Unless he's planning for some crazy all-in, this is just not going to work.
Do you think it's not worth trying to just catch up with the Blink? Because, I mean, right now...
Yeah, but if Welmu goes for charge and Zealot Archons from there, what is MC going to do? Unless he all-ins and makes it work somehow.
So would you have rather have seen charge from MC?
Yeah, definitely. I think charge and Immortal and then taking a third, like in the previous game, would be the best choice.
All right, well, we'll see if this actually works out for MC here. Eventually, that Oracle's going to try and come back in, but it's going to be spotted by this Observer. So Welmu should have full eyes on what actually happens.
Yeah.
Oh, just barely not going up there
Look
just
at
yet.
Welmu's base.
That's a lot of gateways.
It's Huck time. It's time to drop down the gates.
How many do we have? 9. Do we have any more than that? Not just yet, but that's still a lot of gateways.
Yeah, it's the same amount as he made in the first game. He had 9 as well, whereas MC had only 8. I say only 8. This is still pretty much.
This is going to be tough here. We'll see what he wants to go on with. The +2 weapons is already started for MC, and at the same time, the Templar Archives are relatively close in terms of production. So, but the Observer does see the Oracle.
You know, one thing I feel is really weird in this game. MC, I don't know if he plans for some aggression or if he's really scared right now, but he cut probe at 45. Welmu is the one at 49 in this game. This is roles reversed from the first game.
Oh, wow.
Welmu is the one who's been making more walkers than his opponent so far. But for now, Welmu is the only one cutting walkers at 49. MC is the one who's trying to catch up a little bit. And this is a little bit worrying, I have to say. If Welmu does the same thing as he did on Newkirk, it might work again. MC is going to have to be very careful. On the other hand, Welmu, he has 0 Immortals. MC has 3.
That's a big difference. Immortals right now in PvP, I feel, again, I've said it before, but I feel they're like the backbone of the army, and they just stand so strong later on. And whoa, Revelation revealing those gateways. I suppose that's quite clever, just in case you see a load of Chrono Boost going on those gateways.
No, it's not actually.
You don't think?
It's basically just telling him, I know about your gateways. Don't move out and attack, because it's not going to work again.
All right.
And from there, MC just takes a third. I'm not sure Welmu is planning on taking a third at all. Look, he hasn't even sent a probe there.
Is it... do you think now we're just going to have a stalemate for quite a long time? Because taking a third base, I guess, would be the more reasonable option to say, I want to prolong this game, try and give myself as many chances as possible to win this. But do you think that one of the players here feels that they can end it right now?
Well, Welmu apparently does, because he's moving out with lots of units. And MC, he's going to have to be ready for this. Luckily for him, he hasn't started a third, but the army supply, remember, very important. 83 to 83. Same worker count as well. Exactly the same.
This is so damn close. How many Zealots? Okay, we have 20 Zealots against 14. They do have charge, but MCs do not. I guess, in the grand scheme of things, if they charge and close the gap against a load of Zealots, it's not going to make a massive difference, but we'll see.
Welmu, I feel like he has more important units somehow.
He's going to have 4 Archons.
Yeah, he has 1 more Archon right now. He has a few more Stalkers. They are not going to be that good, obviously, against the Zealots, although like you can reinforce a lot. You can expect the Stalkers not to be attacked in this fight until they are the only units that are left. Oh, Welmu was going to send some units to the right-hand side here. This is going to be picked off by MC.
And I think MC actually just lost his Oracle down to the bottom left-hand corner to 1 Stalker. So Welmu's doing a good job of keeping his eyes on the prize back at home as well. 4 Archons are morphing in a 5th and 6th now.
Army supply 99 to 98.
So close.
Look at the supply. They are 1 supply away from each other right now.
Jeez.
Oh, and the feedback. Well, MC is trying to go for it. He's gonna get it. This is huge. Time warp is so important in this fight.
It certainly is. MC was slightly supply blocks there. The Stalker's trying to blink in, trying to do some damage here to the probe line, getting a few kills, but the Photon Overcharge did go down at the natural as well, so he's going to push this army away from that natural. But it's up, so if Welmu realizes, he did send a few units there as well.
Welmu's trying to bait the army at the expansion. He has the much better concave. He's going to go for the fight.
There's the time warps here, but is it going to be enough? A lot of the Zealots have actually died off here for MC. He doesn't have any Zealots left. There's 14 Zealots left here for Welmu. If he brings those in, the army supply so close still.
Yeah, he has so many Archons, but those Immortals, they are finally going to go to work.
Oh, those Zealots behind these Archons not really being able to close the gap, and now MC takes a huge supply lead in terms of army. The Immortals just did so much despite there not being too many armored units.
Yeah, once the Zealots die, the Immortals are going to be very happy. They do a lot of damage against Stalkers, obviously, but they don't do too bad against Archons either in those fights where there is no Colossus or two big armies just yet. So MC here able to hold, but look at how many walkers he's lost.
Yeah.
He's lost 14 in total, so he's down to 44 probes to 53. Behind this, both players are going for the third base. So MC, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to chrono boost some probes from there. He's actually really focusing on chrono boosting his upgrades here. But he's getting +3 right now, whereas Welmu is not.
I have to ask, though, can Welmu hold off some kind of counterattack if MC actually wants to go for it?
This is going to be really hard.
That's
35 army supply to 72. I don't see how Welmu could hold, but he's got a good Archon count. I don't know, man. Those Immortals, they are not supposed to do that well in those fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you reach enough Zealots and Archons. So I feel like MC moving out here, he might be overextending. I mean, he has a good army lead, 78 to 51, but Welmu is slowly catching up, and he's going to have the defender's advantage now. And Welmu has remade his Mothership Core, whereas MC hasn't, I think. So this is going to be important here. The time warp, remember, very, very important.
He does have a Mothership Core, but it's out in the middle of nowhere right now, not with his army, so he needs to rendezvous that once again. The Mothership Core for Welmu is 20 seconds away from a Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, actually, Photon Overcharge in this kind of fight is really bad. You're just going to tickle a Zealot for like 30 seconds.
So you want to use just for the time warps?
Yeah, time warp, and like you try to improve your concave during the fight. Oh, actually some Zealots try for a run by in the third base, but MC had some units ready.
Ooh.
And I think he's going to go for it.
Yeah, certainly is too. He's going to try and go for the Mothership pre-call as well here if this fight doesn't go too well. He could just throw down the time warps as well anyway.
Yeah,
the time warp already goes down here for Welmu, and it goes down for MC as well. I think he's probably just going to crush through. 70 army supply here to 23. There you go, GG. And MC comes back from having a one-game deficit in this best of three. It's the boss toss, man. He somehow makes away.
I think it's safe to say he got surprised in the first game by the timing of Welmu, having seen the third. So Welmu, he was able to trick MC in the first game, or to fool him, and then he tried to go for the same thing again here. Not very wise usually against somebody like MC. He's always going to adapt well enough to make sure he holds. And you saw the supply. That's actually so funny. They had like 98 army supply both, and 49 probes or something.
So close.
Like no, not close. Dead even.
Exactly,
for a very
dead even.
So close that it was even.
But, okay, so that means now that MC moves on to the winners match. And let's give a little refresh as to what's going on elsewhere. Jaedong was able to take the series 2-0. So, against Rain. Wow, I'm actually very surprised by this result.
So we're going to have Rain Welmu.
We are going to have Rain Welmu, yeah. So, in just a little bit, guys, after a short commercial break, we shall have another PvP on the way. Will Welmu be vanquished and be out of the tournament? As Rain's PvP is pretty good. Will he be vanquished? We shall see. Rain, though, a lot of us predicted him to do really well here. He can't go out. Nobody can go out. This is sad times already. Sad times. All right, guys, join us in just a little bit where we'll have another PvP on the way here at the B Stream.